So, you've got that huge raise. You're making more money than you ever have before. But why are you more stressed about your bank account now than you were before? Every time you upgrade your lifestyle, it feels less like a reward and, I don't know, more like you're just one step closer to the edge.
It sounds crazy, right? But this is a trap that isn't set by failure, it's set by your own success. It's this vicious cycle where the more you make, the more you spend, and it just pulls you closer and closer to a financial cliff without you even realizing it.
His story, it's incredible. It reveals this critical mindset shift that really separates sustainable, long-term wealth from just a spectacular crash and burn.
Okay, so let's get into it. This is the story of Ryan Finch, and it starts out like every entrepreneur's dream. But as you'll see, it quickly turns into a total financial nightmare. It's a really powerful lesson in just how fast things can change.
He started right here, 40 grand a year, making a solid living as a plumber, but then he read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it totally lit a fire under him. He was inspired to completely change his financial future and go after a much bigger dream.
And he did it. Talk about taking action. In just his first year as a real estate agent, he more than doubled his income. Boom, straight into the six-figure club. Now, for most people, this is the moment you think, I've made it.
But this right here, this is where the trap was set. As he said himself, that jump in income led to an absolute explosion in his spending. He wasn't just living a little better, he was living a completely different life.
He started spending like the money was never going to stop. We're talking a trip to the Super Bowl, a bigger house, a much nicer car, and all of it was financed with a ton of leverage and debt. He was building this entire lifestyle on the assumption of future success, not on any kind of solid foundation.
And then, the market turned. The income stream slowed way down, but those debt payments, they didn't. He found himself completely over-leveraged with just $50. $50 left to his name, from $100,000 a year to $50 in the bank.
That fall was just brutal, and it forced him to face a really hard truth. He had learned this incredibly powerful lesson about money that had absolutely nothing to do with earning it, and everything to do with actually understanding it.
Hitting rock bottom, it forced a fundamental change in how he thought about everything. And this is the crucial point. He stopped seeing himself as a victim of the market and started becoming a student of it. He shifted from being reactive, blaming the market, getting stuck in the past, to being proactive. So instead of asking, why did this happen to me, he started asking, okay, what's going to happen next, and how can I get ahead of it?
This quote just nails the pivot perfectly. He realized the key wasn't about trying to avoid market shifts, because he can't. It was about anticipating them and putting himself in a position to benefit from them.
So armed with this brand new proactive mindset, he developed this framework for looking at any deal. And it all came down to focusing on 3 core economic forces that really matter. This became his investor's toolkit.
And these are the 3 levers: interest rates, tax savings, and inflation. He learned to analyze how the cost of money, how government incentives like bonus depreciation, which by the way lets you write off a huge chunk of an asset's cost right away, and how that hidden tax of inflation could work either for him or against him. It wasn't about finding the perfect property anymore. It was about understanding how these forces create opportunity in any property.
So what does this actually mean for an investor today? Well, it means you stop asking that reactive question, is now a good time to buy? And you start proactively looking for the opportunity that, believe it or not, always exists.
He argues that successful investing isn't about perfectly timing the market. It's about understanding the dynamics of the market you're in right now. The opportunity is always there. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Let me give you an example. When housing inventory is super high, it might seem like a bad market, right? But a proactive investor sees more sellers, and more sellers means more people who might be distressed or have a problem they desperately need to solve. Your ability to solve that problem, that's your opportunity to buy at a great discount.
Okay, so you've got the right mindset. You understand the levers, but where do you actually put your capital to work? According to Finch, the game has fundamentally changed. It's not about the old ways anymore.
Now, this is really interesting. When you put your money in a high-yield savings account, you're basically lending your money to a bank, and the bank is the one who gets the profit spread by lending it out for stuff like real estate. In a private fund, you get to be the bank. You get the spread.
And here's a key term you've got to know in this world: preferred return. This is a huge layer of protection for you. All it means is that you, the investor, get paid your share of the profits first before the managers of the fund see a single dime.
It keeps everyone's incentives aligned and secures your base return.
Ultimately, what Ryan Finch's story teaches all of us is that true, sustainable wealth, it isn't built when you're just earning the money. It's built in the strategic deployment of that capital. It's about shifting from being a passive saver to becoming an active, proactive owner of real assets.
This is the Brick by Brick channel, where we help beginners build wealth through real estate one brick at a time. If you got value from this, hit the like and subscribe for weekly investor breakdowns.